Hello, everyone. I'm Luis Rodriguez, Clairol professional artist, and I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you for joining us in this Facebook Live directly from the Wella Studio here in Los Angeles, California. Now, before I continue, I want to thank Marlo Beauty, Clairol Pro, and Wella Education for having me. For me, it's a pleasure to be here. And today, I'm going to talk about a color correction going from light to dark. And this is very exciting because a lot of people think that when you're doing a color correction, it's going to take 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. And today, I want to share with you a technique that it's only going to take an hour and a half. And even though I have to break it into 30 minutes. I'm going to try to do the best as I can. Remember that you can ask all the questions that you want, and I'll be answering as soon as possible. Now, my beautiful model, Andrea, came in this morning with about 4 inches of new growth, and she had existing color in the mid shaft and ends. And she had brassy highlights, okay? And I would like to have the before picture on so that everyone can see what I'm talking about. There is the picture. As you can see, my beautiful model, Andrea, that came this morning had about 4 inches of new growth, and she had existing highlights that turned out brassy. So in our consultation, we decided that we wanted to create a natural color. We wanted to erase the line of demarcation that you can see on this picture in this live video that is going right now. So we want to achieve this for our color correction. We want to erase the line of demarcation, and we want to get rid of the brassy, unwanted tones and give her like a natural look that enhances her natural beauty. And how we did this? I'll explain how. We did this by, first of all, we sectioned the hair, as you can see, into 3 quadrants. And the way I like to do this is that I like to make a part from ear to ear, and there you have it. As you can see, you have 2 sections, and then the third one in the back, and I already took this out. Now, I am going to switch this mannequin head with a pre-done mannequin head that I did, because as you know, we need to do this only in 30 minutes. So, as you can see here, I already started the highlights. So what I did to erase the line of demarcation is that I did baby highlights using a balayage technique. Okay, so I did one side and I did the back, as you can see here. Now we did a partial highlight setting, and I am going to start right now applying the color so that you can see how we erase the line of demarcation. So let's get started. Now, as I do this, I'm going to be talking a little bit about consultation, because consultation is one of the most important things when doing a color correction. Now, let me mix a little bit of our BW2 lightener from Clairol Professional. This is an amazing lightener that lifts up to 7 levels of lift, and it's going to give us pure blonde results. Now, we're going to mix an ounce of this with an ounce and a half of our 20 volume developer from Clairol. It's called Pure White. And I am going to turn on this, and we're going to get an ounce and a half. So we're going to mix a 1 to 1.5 mixing ratio for a beautiful, amazing, creamy consistency that is going to allow us to be able to saturate the hair in the best way possible to get beautiful blonde results. For those of you that are out there, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask questions. And if you're enjoying our video, give us lots of hearts. Okay, as you can see, that's an amazing creamy consistency. Now, a pro tip would be just continue to mix until that formula is nice and creamy without feeling like sandy. because if it feels sandy, it's no good. It needs to be nice and creamy. All right, now we got that all ready. Let's tuck this away.
Luis,
Yes.
we have a question from Jennifer and San Dimas, wondering why do we use a spatula instead of a brush to mix?
Well, I like to use the whisk because it breaks the powder more and it makes that creamy consistency. Now, also, in my opinion, it's preference. You can use either or. That is fine, as long as you mix it well. So now we're gonna start our application, and I like to start right on top of the ear. Now, this technique is going to be done using 1/2 inch sections. And then I'm gonna alternate foils. So as you can see, we're doing a 1/2 inch section right here. And now I'm gonna grab, I would say this is a 1/4 inch section. And then I'm gonna do a baby highlight. And the reason why I chose to do baby highlights on my beautiful model, Andrea, is because she has very fine hair. So this works perfect for someone who has fine hair because you want to be able to blend it and you want it to look very nice and for a soft grow out. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to apply, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to start applying the color like 1 inch away from the root. And now, as you know, because you saw the pictures of the model, she has existing highlights. So you're only going to apply the color without overlapping. Now, because this is a mannequin head that I'm using to explain the technique, and we're gonna reveal the model in the end, I am gonna go through it from root to ends. And then here, towards the new growth, we're gonna do like a smudge root towards the top. Now, a lot of people like doing highlights without gloves, and you can do so, but I really don't like it, so I'm gonna wear my gloves right now. But what you wanna do is that you wanna make sure that when you close that foil, you don't press it down much. You wanna leave some room for the product to air out. So we have a question.
Hey, Luis, we have a question coming in from Omaha, Nebraska. James wants to know, do you still want to use cotton so that you don't have to have any bleaching, bleeding onto the roots?
Onto the roots. James, thank you so much for your question. I am not going to use cotton this time because I am doing a smudge root. So therefore, I am not going to be applying the color closer to the root. We're gonna leave like 1/2 inch away from the scalp. This way, it provides a soft grow out. Did that answer your question?
Luis.
Oh, you're welcome. So, like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about consultation. Consultation is one of the most important things when doing a color correction. Why? Because when you do a consultation, you want to ask open-ended questions. And on the open-ended questions are questions that provide information for you to be able to identify the color placement that you want to do, and not only that, but also maybe the tools and the products that you're going to use. So open-ended questions are questions that you cannot answer with a yes or a no, or questions that they need to provide more information. For example, when was the last time you colored your hair? What chemical treatments have you done before? And this is information that is going to help you identify the products that you're going to use and the tools. Like today, as you can see, I love to use the BW Lightening Powder from Clairol Professional that you can get at Marlo Beauty Supply. I love Marlo Beauty because every time I ask for my products, they get to my salon on time, and I never have shipping problems with them. So to recap one more time, what I'm doing is that we are doing a color correction going from light to dark. Our model, if you can post our model picture of the before, she had about 4 inches of new growth with existing highlights that were brassy. And in our consultation, she said that she wanted something natural. She wanted to go a little bit darker. And I am using baby highlights with a balayage technique to erase the line of demarcation. And so this is what I'm doing now. I am doing baby highlights, and towards the scalp or the new growth, I am smudging it. And you can use the brush, or you can even use your finger, and you can lightly kind of like touch up on that lightener and push it up so that it's a nice, soft, multi-dimensional look in the end. How do you guys like it? If you like this technique so far and you are happy with my explanation, give us lots of hearts. And if you need more information, please continue to ask questions. I am here for you, and I want to provide the best education for you guys. And so I am going to continue here to do the baby highlights. And I am applying from mid-shaft and ends in the beginning, because you do not want excessive product to be towards the root. You want the excessive product maybe an inch away from the scalp. You want to start applying here. And remember that you do not want to overlap the lightener in the client's existing highlights, because you don't want to over-process their hair. Now, a lot of things or things that you have to take into consideration when you're doing your consultation is that you're asking open-ended questions, but you're also, as a professional, you are paying attention to porosity, density, texture, and all of that. It's going to take part into the process of choosing your tools. Now, for those of you who are joining in now, my name is Luis Rodriguez. Thank you for tuning in to this Facebook Live directly from the Wella Studio here in LA. And what I'm doing right now is that I am doing a baby highlight setting with the balayage technique to erase the line of demarcation that clients have when they haven't been in the salon in a while. So my beautiful model, Andrea, that came in yesterday, was one of those clients that haven't had time to go to the salon and came in with 4 inches of new growth. And we want to erase the line of demarcation, and we want to give her a natural, soft look.
Luis, we have a question coming in from Benji. Speaking of the foils that you're putting in.
Yes.
Why are you choosing to put them vertical instead of horizontal?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much, Benji, for your question. I am choosing to do in vertical and with 1/2 inch sections in between, because she has fine hair, and I want to be able to provide a nice, soft, multi-dimensional look. And this is why I chose to do it this way. Not only that, also because when you're working behind the chair, sometimes clients, they book only for a root touch-up and a blowout. And when they sit in your chair, you realize that what they need is a color correction. So this is a way that you can do a color correction in a quick and easy way, and you can get the most value for each client.
Thank you, Luis, for that great answer. Hopefully you enjoyed your answer, Benji. We've got one more question coming in from Crystal Barker. She's just tuning in, and she just has a question about you're mixing your BW2. Can you also use water instead of the developer when mixing up your lightener?
You can use water mixed with lightener. Maybe when you want to go maybe a level lighter or to clean like a spot maybe or something like that, but not when you want to have 2 to 3 levels of lift. As you can see, or as you were able to see when we provide the before picture, my model has a level 4, and we're gonna lift the hair up to a level 7, and that's why I chose 20 volume. She has very fine hair, and with 20 volume, it's totally fine to achieve that level of lift. Did that answer your question?
A lot of people asking which developer you used for the BW2, which is the 20 volume, correct?
Yes, it is the 20 volume. And guys, I chose the 20 volume. You know why? Because a lot of people think that if you use 30 or 40 volume, it's going to lighten more and it's going to be better, and it's actually not. The lower the volume, the more healthy, and it's a safe way to lighten the hair. Now, what's going to happen, the only difference is that if you use 20 volume versus 40 volume, is that 40 volume is going to give you a faster lift. Not necessarily lighter, but faster. So 20 and 40 volume will give you the same amount of lift. It's just that it's gonna take a little longer. Now, I would say that when doing a color correction, you want to be safe. You don't wanna use 40 volume and have the client's hair lighten really quickly and then not give you the chance to be able to do maybe a full highlight if that's the case. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. We have several people commenting. Thank you so much for everybody's questions. We'll try to get to all of them. If not, Luis will be back online tomorrow to answer any and all questions that everybody has. Thank you so much for asking great questions. One last question, Luis, before you go on to your next technique.
Of course.
Reina wants to know, if you are dealing with thicker hair, would you go the other way around? What I'm thinking is, would you go darker or lighter? Reina, if you want to go ahead and chat a little bit and just elaborate on that question. And meanwhile, while Reina's getting back to us, if you had thicker hair on your model, would you use just more product or just put in more highlights?
Well, if you have thicker hair, maybe I would try to use a different volume. Maybe, depending on how many levels of lift, I would use maybe a 30 volume, because the thicker the hair, the longer it's going to take to lighten. So I might use a higher developer, or probably I would also use more of closer subsections. I would do more highlights. The reason why I'm leaving half an inch in between each highlight is because she doesn't have a lot of hair. She has very fine hair, and we want this look to look natural. And if you do a lot, she probably end up looking too blonde. And what she wants is that she wants something that it's natural with a soft look. All right, and we're all set with our highlighting technique. Now, once you are done applying all the foils, the next thing you want to make sure is that you check the first highlight when you started, which in this case would be this one, right? The first one down here. And you want to make sure that you check every 5 minutes to see the level of lightness. Okay, and to make sure that you don't lighten the hair too much. And so with my model, Andrea, what we did is that we processed the hair for 20 minutes, and that was perfect for her. In 20 minutes, from a level 4, we were able to lift it all the way to a level 9 to match her existing highlights. And this is very important. I wanted to match the same level of lightness so that when you apply the second step, which is the toner, it blends perfectly from root to ends.
Louise, we have one more question.
Of course.
Would you be able to use heat when you're using lightener?
I don't really like to use heat when I'm using a lightener with the BW2 because sometimes that can speed the process so much that it takes away from you being able to control the lift. But if you have time and you don't have any more clients working behind the chair and you have more time to pay attention to that, I'll definitely will. Thank you for the question. So now that we are all set and the highlights processed already, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna take out those highlights and we're gonna wash the hair with the Shimmer Lights from Clairol Professional. And this is a great shampoo that is gonna take away the brassiness or the unwanted warm tones that we get when we're lightening the hair. Okay, this is one of my favorite shampoos to use behind the chair at the salon. And so after I wash, remember, we are not going to apply conditioner because we're going to do a second step, which is toning. And for the toning formula, I'm going to be using a level 7N from the Demi-Permanent Color from Clairol Professional. And this is a great, great Demi-Permanent hair color that I love because it covers 50% gray, it adds moisturizing agents to the hair, and you could process for up to 30 minutes. Now, I want to give you one pro tip that I do when I'm doing the toning. I like to do the toning at the shampoo bowl. And what I like to do is that I'm gonna use my developer. In this case today, I am using the Demi developer, which is the dedicated developer for the Demi Permanent Color from Clairol Professionals that you can get at Marlo Beauty whenever you want.
We have a quick question about those great Shimmer Light shampoo.
Yes, of course.
We have Keenra wants to know, do you need to use a neutralizer during shampoo as well, or is it okay just to use the Shimmer Lights shampoo?
It's totally fine using the Shimmer Lights shampoo by itself. It's gonna provide beautiful violet tones that are gonna cancel the unwanted warm tones from the previous service of highlightings. And it's perfect. If you want to do that as well, you can. Remember that I'm only giving you tips and tricks. I'm not telling you what's right or what's wrong. I'm just providing information that works for me when I'm at the salon. And talking about that information and tips and tricks that I want to share with you, I want to share with you a very helpful tip. When you're doing a demi-permanent hair color, what I like to do, I like to put the developer first in the bottle and then I shake it. And what this is gonna do is that it's gonna make a nice coating around the whole bottle. And when you apply the color in the bottle, the color, it's not going to stick to the bottle, if you will, and it's gonna be easy for you to mix the color well. And I've been doing this for 15 years, and I learned this not too long ago, thanks to Lindsay Rice in one of our trainings here at the Wella Studio. Say hi to her. If you're there, give us lots of hearts. And then once you coated that bottle, now you shake it, it mixed very well, and it's not only easy to apply, but it's also easy when you're gonna wash those bottles after you're done, because sometimes it's so hard to get that color out that it can be bad if you're toning a blonde. If your next client is a blonde and you did a level 7N, which is what we're using today, that can be tragic.
Luis, we have another question from
Yes.
Jocelyn Daniel. She wants to know, why wouldn't you use a permanent color when it comes to toning?
That's a great question. Thank you so much for that question. Well, in this case, like I said before, we're doing a color correction that we're going from light to dark. So as you know, the demi-permanent hair color only deposits, it's ammonia-free, and it's gentle to the hair. Only because she's going darker, I decided to use the demi-permanent hair color. But you can use permanent hair color if you want to maybe go lighter, or if you want to change the tone of her natural hair. In this case, my beautiful model, Andrea, wanted something natural, something easy to recreate, and this is why I chose this formula in particular. Now, I want to give you another tip. If you have a client that wants to go from dark to light, you can use this same exact technique that I'm doing, just using maybe a permanent hair color. That would be great if you want to go lighter also. There's lots of opportunities and different ways to get the end result. And this is my way of doing it behind the chair. Thank you so much for the question.
And Louise, can we ask you one more question?
Of course.
Is it easier to apply your toner with a bowl or a bowl and a brush or a bottle?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question again?
So the question from Benji is, could you also apply your toner with a brush and bowl, or do you always apply your toner at the shampoo bowl with the bottle?
That's a great question, Benji. Thank you so much for that question. You can do both. That's why I love using the Demi-Permanent Hair Color from Clairol Professional. As you can see here, the Demi Developer, you can see that it's made to use with the bottle or with the bowl and brush. Being the fact that I'm trying to provide information for you that will help you to create a color correction in a quick and easy way, I decide to do it at the shampoo bowl just because it's quicker. Now, if I want to take a little bit more time with my client, I could do that and just apply it there with the bowl and brush. Thank you, Benji, for the question. I appreciate it. And so now, once we process this demi-permanent color for 20 minutes, we process for 20 minutes because of the porosity of my model's hair. It grabbed the color very well, even from root to ends in only 20 minutes. But with Clairol Professional Demi-Permanent Hair Color, you can process up to 30 minutes in a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. Okay.
Louise, we have another question coming in.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Kathy Chop wants to know, can you add shampoo to the color to keep it from depositing too dark since it's a demi color?
Kathy, am I right? Kathy, thank you so much for that question. In my professional opinion, I don't think you should. I would always go by the manufacturers, if I'm pronouncing it right, directions. And I haven't heard that, at least with Clairol Professional. But thank you so much for the question. And so now that the demi-permanent hair color process, now we're gonna wash one more time with the shimmer lights, and this time we're going to be able to put the shimmer lights conditioner to reinforce those pigments. And this is a great product that the client can take home for maintenance because it's going to prevent the color from going brassy. And I think that with further ado, I know you guys are getting excited. I think it's time for us to bring out our beautiful model, Andrea, so that you could see the reveal and the final look after doing the baby highlights. Oh, thank you so much. So this is my beautiful model, Andrea. Andrea, say hi to everybody out there.
Hi,
as you can see, guys, this is the final look. Let's turn her around a little bit. I'm going to be brushing the hair so that you can see the beautiful color and the beautiful technique that we did on her. If you remember, let's recap a little bit for everyone that's joining in now. One more time, thank you so much. This is my beautiful model, Andrea. And when Andrea came in this morning, she had about 4 inches of new growth. Thank you for putting that picture up there for everyone. As you can see in the picture, she had about 4 inches of new growth. She had existing highlights that turned out brassy and with a huge line of demarcation. And we achieved this beautiful natural look by adding baby highlights. And if you get closer to her hair, you can see here how that color has amazing reflection. The demi-permanent hair color from Clairol, it's amazing. Remember, you can get it at Marlo Beauty, and it worked perfectly. Look how much shine that hair has. And I'm gonna open up a little bit here so that you can see how nice and natural it looks. And so this beautiful style, we're gonna finish it up today with our GHD Platinum Plus curling iron. If you wanna turn towards the camera, thank you so much, Andrea. And I wanna give you another little tip and trick. I love using the GHD, which you can also get at Marlo Beauty Supply. They're amazing. And this amazing tool provides not only you can flat iron the hair, but you can also do beautiful curls. And I'm gonna show you how I create the curls. And it's a great way, not only for me to do it, but you can also teach your clients how to do it at home because it's very easy. All we're going to do is that we're gonna grab like a 1/2 inch section and we're gonna use our GHD, I would say 2 inches or 3 away from the scalp, and we're just gonna turn one time around and we're gonna let it glide through the hair nice and soft. And as you can see, this is going to give her a beautiful, beautiful curl. Oh, you know what happened? I think that my GHD turned off. Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. My GHD turned off because this is an amazing tool that if you did your last client and left the salon and forgot to turn it off, it turns off by itself. So, oh, you heard that sound? That means that it's ready to now do the curls. And this is amazing. This baby here heats up to 365 degrees, which is excellent for anyone that colors their hair and save for the color not to come out because we just color her hair today, you know? So let's try this one more time and reveal that beautiful curl that the GHD provides. And we're gonna go here again. I'm gonna use the GHD 2 inches away from the scalp. I'm gonna turn it only one time and I'm gonna let it slide very slowly. And this is how I created this beautiful, voluminous look. Look at that. That is so awesome. Once you create the beautiful curl, I like to let it cool for a minute, but I like to finish it off with a little bit of my favorite hairspray, which is let me show it to you right now, hold on, the Sebastian Shaper Plus. The Sebastian Shaper Plus is a great hairspray that it's humidity resistant. It's great for those people that live in the tropical islands that have a lot of humidity. It locks the curls in a way for long-lasting results. Let's have her turn around. And as you can see, guys, if you remember that before picture, she had a very prominent line of demarcation, and we were able to erase that with baby highlights and the balayage technique. And this is the final result. How do you guys like it? If you do like it, please give us lots of hearts, lots of hearts. I want to thank Marlo Beauty. I want to thank Clairol Professionals. I want to thank Wella Education for having me here and giving me the opportunity. And last but not least, my beautiful model, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here. For me, it was a pleasure to work with her and provide all these tips and tricks that I do behind the chair when doing a color correction. So if you have any more questions, feel free to continue to write them down. And as soon as I get to my phone, I'll answer back. Thank you so much for joining us in this Facebook Live. And I'll see you soon. Bye.